Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Mike Beer kicking off the Pick 6 on Belmont Stakes Saturday with Grade 1 stakes action. It's the Jaipur Invitational for turf sprinters going 3/4 of a mile. We'd love for you to play the Pick 6 with the DRF Bets account, but also remember your exacta winners bonus, 10% to be exacta. All races at Belmont Stakes Racing Festival Thursday through Saturday. Use your phone, bets.drf.com. Here's the field for the Grade 1 Jaipur, and there's going to be a big favorite in this race, Mike, and that's the number 8 World of Trouble, who has even money on David Aragona's morning line. This horse has won 4 in a row. He's won 6 of 7. He's won a Grade 1 on dirt. He's just as good on turf, and he might be able to get an easy lead. He is certainly the horse to beat.
Yeah, I think the pace is the big thing to point to. Obviously, he's talented on both surfaces, and he's 3 for 4 sprinting on the grass. The only loss in his turf career so far in the Breeders' Cup, but he only ran a 118 buyer. I guess he's just fine on turf. And the pace really does feel like the thing that's going to play to his advantage in here because there's not a ton of speed in here. He exits a win on Derby weekend at Churchill where, you know, he just had that field over a barrel. He got absolutely loose on the lead, and he never really had to get out of a common gallop to beat that field. This is going to be tougher for him, but he's still got an awful lot of things going for him.
You mentioned the pace. We'll throw up the Timeform US Pace Projector, and you see the 8 World of Trouble out there with a fairly sizable gap. Not a blue bar scenario, but it looks like that if he wants the lead, he can get it. Second on the Timeform US Pace projector is the number 4 Guido. It'll be interesting to see if he shows that same sprint speed that he's shown in 2-turn races recently. He has not raced in about 5.5 months. And that Mathis Brothers mile last time out, I think he just got cooked on a pretty fast pace.
Yeah, this horse does have speed. I would expect to see Johnny V come out of there running with this horse. I know that, you know, maybe getting hooked up on the pace with World of Trouble might not be in their plans, but I don't see how they think this horse is going to win if they don't use his speed in here. I do think he's a better sprinter than he is turf router. I don't know how good he actually is. The last time they sprinted him on turf at Belmont last October, it was over good ground. They put him up on the pace that day with Pure Sensation. He was terrible in there. He came unglued pretty early. That was not a good performance. He is better than that. But he needs to show up with his best effort if he's going to be competitive in here.
The mare, Belvoir Bay, takes on the boys, but you don't worry about that. She ran so well in the Al-Quaz Sprint in Dubai 2 starts back, finishing ahead of her quality stablemate Stormy Liberal, who bested World of Trouble in that Big Fig Breeders' Cup turf sprint that you were alluding to. Last time out, I know Peter Miller was very disappointed that the stewards took that race off the turf. They were kind of going with the anticipated weather forecast and not exactly the turf course. And Belvoir Bay is, while good on dirt, not as good as she is on turf. She has beaten the boys in the past. I love the way she won that Wishing Well 3 back at 5 furlongs.
Yeah, you know, that was a pretty impressive win, and she got a figure for it. I can't get past the fact that she was beating Lady Subi in there. Lady Subi ain't much horse. She'd get beat a million lengths in this race. This horse is good. She has some quality to her. She's got some speed too, so she shouldn't be too badly compromised. I think she's in pretty tough here against the 2 favorites, though.
How cool is Undrafted? He's 9 years old. He's banked $1.5 million in his career, and he's been running in this race since way back since he won it in 2014. Now, he is a 1-run closer that's getting a little bit long in the tooth, and he couldn't step with World of Trouble last time out, but that was also his first start in about 6 months. I would expect him to improve, but he may need a little bit more cooking up front to set up his kick.
He's not the horse he used to be. Throw a little pace in front of him, though, and he will come running at the end still. He hasn't won a stakes race since 2016, but he's won 3 allowance races since then. You know, all things considered, his race off the layoff last time was not bad. He had no chance the way that it was set up with World of Trouble loose on the lead. He actually made a run through the stretch in there. It wasn't a terrible performance. Listen, he's not what he once was, but he can still run a little bit.
Very quietly, Ohm has won 4 graded stakes races and $1 million. It's kind of amazing, isn't it? He made his first start for Peter Miller last time out off a lengthy layoff in the opening verse stakes, and I thought he acquitted himself quite fine. Now he's going to cut all the way back to 6 furlongs, and that's really the question I have for you. Do you think he's going to be effective as a true sprinter? Do you think he's more of a 7 furlong to mile and a 16th speed type?
That's a good question. I don't know if I have a real good answer for it. I'm not sure what his best game is. I think he should be fine sprinting, though, because he's one of those horses who has a little bit of speed. He's not going to get outrun by these horses. He's got a lot of money in the bank and he's won some nice races, but he doesn't win that often. You go through that, he had that run of form, it started around 2016 into 2017, 9 of 11 races where he ran triple-digit buyer speed figures, and he only won once of that entire span. Like he just never seems to get there. He's pretty talented. I don't know if he's another one. I don't know if he's as good as he used to be, but he's got a good run in him.
30-1 on the morning line for the first time turf runner, the Calumet homebred number 9 Wild Shot, who is more and more beginning to look like a one-hit wonder. And that one hit came in the 2017 Pack Day Mile when he popped a 97 buyer speed figure. He looked good doing it, and since then, he has really done nothing. And I think Rusty Arnold's just kind of throwing his hands up and saying, let's try something different. Let's try turf. And Trap Shot, the sire, wins 7% with first-time turf runners. The dam has pulled one turf winner, but this is the family of pulpit. It's not like it's screaming turf. It's almost as if Rusty's just taking a shot.
Yeah, you could take a shot in an allowance race, too. That's allowed in this game. You don't have to take a shot in the Jaipur against horses like this. We'll see what happens. He's going to be a huge price in here.
I guess he is eligible still for a non-winners of 2 other than, although in this day and age, they don't write too many of those, Mike.
Yeah, that's true.
The number 3 is Dirty, who scored in his first start and only start in 2019 for Jeremiah Engelhardt, who's just been on a wonderful roll at Belmont. I don't think he gets the credit he deserves in New York with all the big names like Chad and Todd, but this horse beat a couple of next out winners last time out, coming from well off of the pace. I think he actually has it in him to be closer to the pace, but I wonder if his kick is actually more enhanced by getting some pace in front of him and coming from far back.
Yeah, maybe that works better for him. He looked pretty good winning that race last time. It's, completed pass.
He's gotten good.
He's okay. He's won 3 pretty nice races in a row, so there's nothing wrong with beating that horse, and he did get a new top figure for it. He started out as a turf sprinter like he might, be okay. He ran pretty close to World of Trouble in a couple of races last summer. He was no match for that horse, but he wasn't embarrassed by that horse either. I felt like he lost his way a little bit in November last year, but he came back up to the way of running last time.
Diamond Oops made his turf debut last time out at Gulfstream, and boy, was that a tough spot. Off a 10-month layoff, facing a crack sprinter in Pay Any Price, who got loose on a very slow pace. Diamond Oops was kicking at the end of that race like a horse that might have a little bit of a future. Now, my feeling is this might be a case of too much, too soon, but I'm looking forward to seeing what we get down the road for Diamond Oops, who will start as a second-time gelding in this race.
Yeah, we feel the same way about him. It's really hard to envision him being able to win this race. He is the kind of horse who had a big price. I will be trying to get in there somewhere underneath maybe because, he was cut out to be a pretty nice horse as a 2-year-old. He had only 1 start at 3, and then off that layoff in the race you mentioned last time in his turf debut, he actually ran in that race. This horse, he has some talent. This is a really tough spot.
Let's take a look at our top selections for this year's Grade 1 Jaipur. And if your pick, the 6 Disco Partner, wins, one of these days they're going to rename the Jaipur the Disco Partner because he's won it the last 2 years. And time he didn't win it in 2016, he got beat a neck, and he was great that day with a little bit of trouble. The question I have for you, this is his course, this is his race, but at the age of 7, is he the same horse?
I don't know. Listen, it's all going to come to an end at some point for him. I think based off his Shakertown, I'm not willing to say that he can't run anymore. I mean, that felt like typical Disco Partner prep racing for me from Clement. They do it every year. They take him, those shorter sprints aren't great for him anyway. They just took him back early. He was down inside trying to rally in that race. He got a little tired at the end. I think that's probably by design as far as Clement's concerned. So this is the race that they were pointing for. He's won his last 5 turf sprints at Belmont Park, including the 2 Jaipurs you mentioned, where he's just tremendous in this race every year. He needs firm turf, but I think he's probably going to get it on Saturday. And, is he still the same horse he used to be? I don't know, but based on his final start as a 6-year-old last year, yes, he is. He ran great in the Turf Sprint Championship last year. He got a ridiculously bad ride in that race, and he really ran in there. So as far as I can tell, this horse can still run.
So the big question, I think, is the pace. Because as he's gotten older, he does like to come from a little bit further out of it. Do you think Irad can sort of motivate him and get him into the race earlier? Because that really is the key to this race, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Because, again, if you go back to the end of last year, I don't know what Rosario was doing in the Turf Sprint Championship, but he could have been closer that day. He just didn't want to be. Irad rode this horse last October. he was the same old disco partner. He broke really sharply from the gate, but he just didn't want to be on the lead, so I rated him. This horse, I don't think he'll be too far away. I think this horse can still run.
And you're going to go with Disco Partner on top of World of Trouble, 6851. World of Trouble's just been on a roll.
Yeah.
I think he's going to get the jump on Disco Partner, turning into the stretch, albeit at a short price. I think Wild Shot's going to run a decent race.
Do you
on
really?
the turf first time.
Throw
I
him
really
in
do.
there?
I'm going to throw him in there,
Wow.
maybe in the bottom of my exactas and supers. I mean, he's got to do better than he's been running on the dirt.
That's a tough spot.
8973 for me in the Grade 1 Jaipur. It kicks off the pick 6 on Belmont Stakes Saturday. Play it with a DRF Bets account. Also play exactas all Belmont Stakes Festival long. Thursday through Saturday, you get a 10% exacta winners bonus when you hit a play on your mobile device. Bets.drf.com is where you go for all the details. Approximate post time for the Jaipur, 2:41 Eastern. Good luck.